You've seen the day in the life of a software engineer. Videos where some 23-year-old spends 4 hours eating free, catering 2 hours playing ping pong, and maybe 30 minutes glancing at a monitor while sipping a $20 smoothie. They tell you that tech is the ultimate gold mine. They tell you that all you need is a 3-month boot camp or a degree in computer science and you will be ushered into the ranks of the new rich. They show you the 6-figure start-in salaries, the sign-on bonuses, and the shiny offices in Silicon Valley or Austin. But here is the cold, unweighted, cynical reality that no one mentions while they trying to sell you a course. The vast majority of people working in tech will never be rich. In fact, most will end up as nothing more than high-paid digital sharecroppers trading the best years of their biological cognitive peak to build someone else's empire while they themselves remain one corporate restructuring away from total insolvency. The tech industry isn't a ladder to wealth for the workers. It is the most sophisticated gilded cage ever designed. It is a system that pays you just enough to make you feel successful but costs you so much in time, energy, and taxes that you never actually build a floor of true autonomy. Before we deconstruct the specific economic algorithms that keep the high-income tech worker broke and the technical myths that trap you in a cycle of perpetual learning for zero gain, do me a favor. If you appreciate this kind of direct, no-fluff reality that peels back the layers of the industry, hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. Most channels are here to blow smoke and keep you hopeful. I'm here to show you the code behind the curtain. It helps the algorithm keep this message in front of people who actually want to wake up. Now, let's talk about the high-income trap. Most people enter tech because they are chasing a number, usually $100,000. In most parts of the world, that sounds like a fortune. But the lab owners are smart. They've tied the highest paying jobs to the highest cost environments. To earn that elite salary, you are often forced to live in a city where a 2-bedroom apartment costs $4,000 a month and a mediocre sandwich costs $20. When you factor in the progressive tax brackets where the government takes nearly half of your bonus and a massive chunk of your base, that 6-figure salary begins to evaporate. Most people, you aren't rich. You are just a high-velocity pass-through entity for capital. The money comes in from the tech giant and goes out to the landlord, the IRS, and the lifestyle habits you've developed just to cope with the stress of the job. By the time you hit 40, you might have a high salary, but your net worth is a rounding error compared to the value you've generated for the shareholders. As a developer, I see this as a memory leak in your personal financial OS. You are generating massive amounts of data value for the company. But your own storage wealth is increasing because the overhead of the system is too high. The cynicism of the tech industry is that it convinces you that your total compensation, or TC, is your value. They include things like stock options or RSUs that are often subject to 4-year vesting schedules. This is the golden handcuff algorithm. It's designed to keep you from leaving. It's designed to make you a compliant rat because if you quit, you lose the wealth that hasn't actually materialized yet. You are gambling your time on a lottery ticket that the company controls. If the market shifts or if the board decides to pivot, those options become worthless and you realize you spent 4 years of your life working for a possibility while the lab owners were taking home actual cash. The technical reality of why you won't get rich as a worker is skill decay. In almost any other professional, law, medicine, carpentry, or experience compounds. The more you do it, the more valuable you become because the fundamentals don't change every 18 months. In tech, the opposite is true. You are on a treadmill that is constantly accelerating. The framework you mastered last year is legacy today. The language you spent 5 years learning is being replaced by an AI-driven automation tool tomorrow. You are forced into a state of perpetual juniority. You are never allowed to be the master. You are always the student, desperate to keep up with the latest documentation just to stay relevant. This is a deliberate design choice by the industry to keep labor costs down. If the old guys are always obsolete, the company can always hire new guys for less. Your experience is a liability because it comes with a higher price tag but a shorter shelf life. If you want to break the cycle, you have to stop being a consumer of systems and start being a builder of leverage. Leverage is the only way to get rich. Working for a wage is trading time for money, and time is a finite, non-renewable resource. Leverage is using code, capital, or hardware to multiply your output. If you're a developer who just writes tickets, you have zero leverage. If you're a developer who understands the stack, automates the boring parts, and builds your own tools, you have the beginning of a floor. But you can't build leverage on a weak foundation. If your machine hangs when you're trying to compile or your hardware bottlenecks, your research into new AI models, you are losing the war before it even starts. If you're serious about stepping out of the employee mindset and into the owner mindset, you need gear that actually scales with your ambition. EVA put a link in the description to a curated kit for building a high-performance PCV kind of rig that has the overhead for real technical work, not just rendering distractions. Don't let your hardware be the bottleneck for your freedom. Now, let's look at the corporate algorithm of the tech middle class. Banks and lenders love tech workers. Why? Because you are the most predictable borrowers in the world. You have a high income and a high ego. They sell you the dream of the luxury life, the Tesla, the smart home, the premium subscriptions. They know that if they can get you to commit to $10,000 a month in fixed expenses, you will never quit. You will tolerate the toxic culture. You will ignore the burnout. You will keep running the maze because you are terrified of the scorekeepers lowering your credit rating. You have become a well-trained rat who thinks the cage is a palace because the bars are made of tempered glass and high-speed wire. The cynicism runs even deeper when you look at the career path. You start as a junior. You work like a slave to become a senior. And then you reach the terminal level, the staff or principal engineer. At this point, you aren't even writing code anymore. You are attending meetings about meetings. You are a highly paid bureaucrat in a digital environment. You are managing the refactoring of systems that should not have been built in the first place. You've reached the top of the ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. You're earning $400,000 a year, but you have no time to see your family. Your health is declining from 16-hour days in a chair, and you're still a tenant in your own life. You are a value commodity in a warehouse, waiting to be sold or replaced by a more efficient version of yourself. To stay poor after 40 in tech, all you have to do is follow the advice. Save 10%. Buy a house you can't afford. Stay loyal to your company. Wait for your RSUs to vest. Hope the algorithm doesn't change. If you do that, I guarantee you will reach the end of your career with a modest retirement account and a mountain of regret. But if you want to be the person who actually gets rich, the one who owns their time and their data, you have to embrace this. You have to realize that the company is a tool for you, not the other way around. You have to use the high salary to buy leverage assets, not bait liabilities. You have to master the stack so deeply that you are independent of any single platform or employer. The technical world is a meritocracy of logic, but the financial world is a meritocracy of ownership. If you don't own the code, the hardware, or the data, you are just a passenger. The lab owners want you focused on the new features and the UI because as long as you are looking at the screen, you aren't looking at the exit. The exit is built on 3 things: technical mastery, financial aggression, and total self. It requires you to spend your evenings building your own floor instead of engaging with the latest streaming content. It requires you to audit your life with the cold eyes of a Colonel debugger. Look at the older developers who are truly free. They aren't the ones who stayed at one company for 20 years. They are the ones who became mercenaries. They built high-income skills. They kept their expenses low, and they used their technical value to buy back their freedom, one piece at a time. They stopped being software engineers and started being systems owners. They realized that the RTX doesn't pay the bills, but the logic inside the head does. Stay cynical about the perks. A free lunch is never free. It's a bribe to keep you in the office for 3 extra hours. Stay curious about the how and the why, not just the what. And most importantly, stay sharp. Build your own world. Own your tools. And don't let ATC number define your worth as a human being. The maze is only as powerful as your dependence on it. The moment you realize that you can write the code that runs the locks, the cage is no longer a cage, it's just a room you can leave whenever you want. Thanks for watching. The Great Human Lab is always looking for its next top performer to harvest. Don't let it be you. Make the decision today to move from the borrowed class to the owner class. Check that link in the description. Get the hardware you need to actually compete and start building your own floor. I'll see you on the other side of the paywall, where the ownership is total and the salary is optional. Stay sharp. Stay free. Stay coding. The truth is in the code, but the wealth is in the ownership. Go find it. Most people will watch this and go right back to their GRA tickets and their dreams of a promotion. They will tell themselves that I'm just bitter or too cynical. But the data doesn't lie. The median net worth of a tech worker at retirement is shockingly low compared to the billions they've helped create. They are the victims of the normalcy trap. They did what they were told, and they got what everyone else got. A steady supply of pellets and a very small cage. Don't be that rat. Be the one who understands the machine. Be the one who builds the exit. The technical landscape is shifting under your feet right now. AI is refactoring the very definition of a job. If your only value is writing code that a machine can now write, your kill switch has already been flipped. You just haven't realized it yet. The only defense is to move up the stack. Understand the logic, understand the security, and understand the economics. Become the person who designs the machine, not the one who is consumed by it. Stay cynical. Stay curious. Stay solvent. See you in the next one.